Moving on, let's talk about also the political storm in Andhra Pradesh after an RTI reply detailed how former Chief Minister Jagan Reddy spent crores of public money on luxury air travel. The TDPs latched onto this to say that the priorities of the YSRCP have been exposed. Now, the RTI reply essentially suggested that 222 to 223 crores was the flight bill of Jagan Reddy. The YSRCP, however, has leveled these allegations as politically motivated and said, why don't you provide similar disclosures from Chandrababu Naidu's time as well?
A fresh political storm has erupted in Andhra Pradesh, this time over what the TDP calls a sky-high splurge by former Chief Minister YS Jagan Reddy. The charge: crores of public money allegedly spent on luxury flights and helicopters during his tenure. Andhra Minister Nara Lokesh is leading the attack. According to him, 222 crore rupees were diverted for Jagan's personal luxury travel. Data released by the Andhra Pradesh Aviation Corporation shows Jagan Reddy spent 223 crore rupees on flights as Chief Minister, including 87.02 crore rupees on helicopter charges and 23.31 crore on operational crew costs. Year-wise spending climbed steadily from 31.43 crore rupees in 2019 to 2020 to 50.81 crore rupees in 2023 and 24.
The fact of the matter is, when the state was in financial distress and the people of Andhra Pradesh were suffering, the erstwhile Chief Minister has used public money for his own benefits and his own comforts. This is the truth, what we would like to put forward to the people of Andhra Pradesh.
The YSRCP party has hit back, calling the charges politically motivated and incorrect. Parties demanding that the state government release similar aviation expenditure data from Chandrababu Naidu's tenure as well.
You keep shouting that Mr. Y. Jagan has spent 222 crores on personal travel, but you never show a single official document that says these were private holidays and not routine recorded tours of a sitting Chief Minister drawn from Andhra Pradesh Aviation Corporation and the RTI data that you have drawn, which you are twisting and misleading the people.
With both sides trading numbers and accusations, Andhra's political battlefield has shifted, and this time to the skies. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's open this up. Joining us on this broadcast from the YSRCP is Karthik Yelapragada, YSRCP spokesperson. We also have Pattabhiram Komareddy, national spokesperson of the TDP. Thank you both for your time. I'd like to begin with Karthik on what really the YSRCP's response is to this revelation of 222 crores of public money being spent by former Chief Minister Jagan Reddy on his travel. Karthik, what's the YSRCP's response to this?
Well, we've just seen that, Akshita. Now, the point there is, every weekend, Mr. Lokesh and Mr. Kalyan goes as a weekend shuttle service between Hyderabad and Vijayawada. And when we brought this up, and they want to spin this ocean, and then they came up with this 222 crores narrative on the screen now. And again, they claim that this is a personal expense of Mr. Y. Jagan Reddy, and I strongly condemn that. Where did the document say that this is all personal? He is a chief minister for the state of Andhra Pradesh. When he was a chief minister, he was doing all his air travel. And this is like any other state chief minister for that matter. Now, the point what we're asking is, shows the proofs. And what was the expenditure that Mr. Naidu was spending when he was chief minister, where all the big outlets, news outlets in the country have reported saying that hundreds of crores have been spent going around Singapore and all of that, but gained nothing for the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now put those documents also outside so that we'll compare line by line, and then we'll see objectively what is Mr. Jagan's expenditure towards this versus what is Mr. Naidu's expenditure.
No, fair. Pattabhiram, your response. What does the TDP have to say to the YSRCP saying that, look, if you're going to accuse Jagan Reddy of spending public money for private holidays, as the TDP puts it, what is really the expense by the current Chief Minister, by Chandrababu Naidu? Why not put out that data? Be fully transparent.
I can very strongly say that it is criminal wastage of public money by Jagan Reddy when the government was under severe financial stress, spending 222 crore on his luxuries. I'll give you two examples. Did any Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh flew to Davos in a special chartered flight via London to attend the World Economic Forum? It is only Mr. Jagan Reddy. To go to Switzerland to attend the World Economic Forum, he books a chartered flight, goes to London, picks up his family, goes to Switzerland, does a holiday there. In another instance, he goes to Davos via Istanbul. Did any chief minister ever in Andhra Pradesh, or for that matter, any chief minister in the country, book a scheduled chartered flight to go to Davos? Why did he not go in a scheduled flight? Is this not criminal wastage of money? And the second point is, recently there was an RTI request to the AP Aviation Corporation to bring out the money that was spent on Sri Nara Lokesh travel. My friend is quoting weekend travel to Hyderabad and all. The reply was zero. The Andhra Pradesh Aviation Corporation had given a reply stating that Sri Nara Lokesh did not spend a single rupee from the state exchequer. It was all his personal money.
Okay,
so
so
he's Mr. Jagan
so
Reddy,
that's the response from the
Mr.
TDP.
Jagan Reddy,
Yeah.
who is known to spend public money on his own luxuries. Look at the 500 crore he had spent on the Rishikonda Palace. Do they have any reply
Come
to
on,
that?
Okay,
come on.
okay,
It's been many
One
times
second,
I've responded.
Mr. Pattabhiram, I've given you a chance to respond. You responded to that particular allegation. But Karthik, here are specific examples, instances given by the TDP now of money that was used for travel. You know, a chartered plane to Davos.
What we're saying, Akshita, no, they say it's a personal expenditure. It is not. We are asking
Did he
to
use
prove
a
that
chartered plane to
we are
Davos or
asking we are
not?
asking to.
Did he use a chartered plane to Davos
Let's
or not?
No,
maintain
so I'll
let's
tell you
maintain some decorum here,
why
Mr.
he's calling
Pattabhi.
it private.
I
Because
think,
he stopped at
yeah.
London, picked up his family, is what the TDP says.
Did he use a chartered
That's
plane
not
to
the fact.
Davos or not?
That's not the fact. Ask them to prove that. That's not the fact.
The
What
entire
we're
world
saying is
knows.
ask them to
The
prove.
entire world
Ask them to
knows
prove
that he went
Yeah,
to
please,
London.
I mean,
Okay,
picked
one
up
at a
his
time,
daughter,
please. One at a
Stop
time.
went
We're
to
not going
One at a
Switzerland.
anywhere
time.
with this.
One at a
And
time,
what
please.
moral right you have to
Pattabhiram
comment on
Garu, just hold on for a second. Let Karthik respond and then I'll bring you back in.
Yeah, thanks, Akshita.
Go
What
ahead.
we're saying is give the objective proves that this is a private travel. All of that was on state's expenditure. Now, another question what we're asking is if Lokesh and Kalyan are doing those private trips like a weekend shuttle service every weekend, and if they say that we're paying from our pockets, how do we know that? Who's paying that? Who's paying for that? Which corporates are paying for it? On what quid pro quo that these corporates are paying? And then are we mortgaging the state of Andhra Pradesh for that? The point is that, I mean, they can't sway away saying that this is on personal expense. And that also need to be transparent, right? What is the proof there? Again, we want to ask the same question. These 222 crores were being spent on the welfare. Well, the chief minister was going around on air travels, which is common for any other state for that matter. Now, they twist this argument, Akshita. They create this narrative that this is personal expense. Come on, this can't be personal expense. Where did that RTI tell this is personal expense? That was the
No,
expenditure
so
that has
specifically
happened
to the example that the TDP is given, the specific instance of, for example, flying to Davos in a chartered plane and then stopping by in London, picking up his family. That's what the TDP is alleging here.
That is absolutely false. Picking up a family, what are
It's
we
not
what
an
are we saying?
allegation.
And
It
then
is a fact.
and no,
The
it's not
entire
a
world
fact.
was
It's
shocked.
not a
The
fact.
man-
It's not a fact. Prove that on. What we're saying is that the same gentlemen have gone to Davos recently, and then they say that no, all of these investments were just there for connections and not to bring any investment into it. The same Singapore affair, when 39 odd crores is just spent for one Singapore air travel and got zero investments for the state of Andhra Pradesh during their tenure, and that's a serious affair. I mean, we got to be asking, right? Like, what is the return on investment on the air travel that they've gone to Singapore, all of this to Davos? None of that is happening. And again, like, they're twisting the argument, they're twisting the
Okay,
narratives
let
here,
me bring
Akshita. I
in-
want to be very clear.
Okay, let me bring in the TDP on this. Mr. Pattabhiram, you've heard what the YSRCP says. They're saying that this is a twisting of narratives, that at the end of the day, Davos was for the benefit of Andhra Pradesh.
We are just facts. We are just presenting facts. Are there no scheduled
Where?
aircraft to Davos in Switzerland? Are there no scheduled aircraft from India to Switzerland in Davos? Why do you have to waste public money on a chartered flight? So it is you who had wasted. And look who's talking about investments. What are the investments that are brought by Jagan Mohan Reddy from Davos or any of his other foreign visits? Zero. In the past 1.5 years, we've brought $15 billion from Google, we brought Cognizant, we brought TCS, we brought ArcelorMittal. In the recent CII Partnership Summit, it is 13 lakh crore. It is a record in all the CII Partnership Summits. They have destroyed the brand image of AP. That is the reason why you have received a drubbing. That is the reason why you have received a drubbing.
I don't want to go into investments right now. I don't want to go into investments. The only question that is to be asked here is about whether this kind of a splurge is unique to Jagan Mohan Reddy, Mr. Pattabhiram, or is this something every political leader does, especially chief ministers of a state, of using public money for travel, for state affairs, for events.
Where is the proof? Where is the proof that this is a private expense? That's what we're asking from RTI.
No chief minister had ever booked a chartered flight.
Come on, he keeps saying this. That's not the question.
Hyderabad or Vijayawada to Davos. It will be Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy alone. And no chief minister had flown to Davos via London. No chief minister had picked up his family in London and flew to Davos.
That did not happen. I want to deny that.
Okay, Karthik, quickly, and then I'll raise another issue. Karthik, go ahead, quickly.
It is on record. It is a shame.
They're not answering this question.
It is a shame on you to defend your leader.
The gentleman keeps on interrupting. We have to
one at a
maintain
time,
some
sir.
decorum
One at a
here.
time, please. One at a time. Karthik, go ahead.
We have to maintain some decorum here. So the point here is, again, the same question I'm asking. What is the proof that this is a private expense? They're claiming that it's a private expense. And then I want to expose this in national media now. What has been put forth in RTI is a general expense for state of Andhra Pradesh being an exchequer. That is not a private expense. That is on record. And we bet now, prove that.
Sure. Karthik, but also raise the question here that the TDP has put up, which is that isn't it extravagant travel to go ahead on a chartered plane? Why not go on scheduled commercial planes? Why go ahead with a chartered, plane? That is an extreme splurge. That's extravagance.
It's not extravagance. The thing is that all of that family affairs and expense, all of that, they just bring it up in the air. That did not happen. I'm saying that 39 to 39.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. Pattabhiram Garu, hold on. I'll give you your chance, sir.
There were enough instances that the whole thing, when they've gone to Singapore, spending 39, 40 odd crores just for air travel, bringing nothing, and Singapore government itself telling that we don't want to invest. As you said, we don't want to go into investment discussion today. But then this is as if they're putting that, again, the same aspect of making Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy look something different than what he is. That's not the fact. Every weekend shuttle service that Mr. Kalyan and Mr. Lokesh is doing every weekend, we are asking that how is the expense made? Who's paying for it? And prove the point who's paying for it.
And I'll ask that question. I'll ask that question. But Karthik, is it not extravagant? Is it not extravagant to take a chartered plane? That is extravagance. That is a splurge.
The point there is, this is in Singapore as well. What is happening during 14 and 19, for an instance? And then what is the proof that he's stopped there and gone for family? All of that is a fake narrative, Akshita. This can't happen again and again.
We have
no, okay, so I'll set aside. Maybe he didn't stop for family, but still, again, I'll ask that question. Is it not extravagance to go ahead and take a chartered plane when there are scheduled flights out there? So that is an extravagant splurge. Yes or no, Karthik?
So it depends upon the magnitude of return on investment that we're expecting out of the conferences, out of the thing. And then this is something, it can't be blown out of proportion that it never happened in the state of Andhra Pradesh.
We're not going to equate. We're not going to equate how many crores brought in for the state versus how much was spent on flying to Davos. That's not how it works. But okay, TDP, Mr. Pattabhiram, go ahead. The other question that will be asked is, doesn't the current Chief Minister, the Andhra Chief Minister, also travel by chartered flights?
See, the first point is, you have asked him a straight question and he does not have an answer. And the second point is, if he is brave enough to come onto this channel tomorrow, I'll show you the flight records, flight path of the flight which landed in London and went to Davos. If Mr. Karthik is brave enough, ask him to come onto the show tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'll prove it. And the second thing is, recently there was an RTI filed with the same question. And the answer which was given by the Aviation Corporation is that not a single rupee was spent by Mr. Nara Lokesh on his travels between Vijayawada and Hyderabad, or for that matter, any other place. Ask them to file an RTI. Ask them to come up with concrete evidence. We are ready to answer. We are behaving responsibly. We know the fiscal condition of the state. And whatever chartered flights that are being booked for the personal travels of Chandrababu Naidu garu or Lokesh, it is being paid by their company. Heritage is a company which is worth more than 5,000 crore. It is, it can afford such travels, and we don't have to draw money from the state exchequer.
Okay, so the response there, Karthik, I'm sure you have heard from the TDP. They've given you the account now. They've said where exactly the money is coming from for these bookings from Heritage. So they've gone ahead and nailed that and spelled it out for you now. So then the question that comes up is when Jagan Mohan Reddy was the Chief Minister, who was paying? If he was taking a chartered plane to Davos, who was paying?
So even to Mr. Kalyan, the same Heritage pays? We're not sure. We can double check that. But again, that side of
no, Pattabhiram garu, quickly respond on that. Quickly respond, then I'll bring in the vice.
Yeah, see, Mr. Pawan Kalyan is also, rich enough to afford. He is a famous film star. He doesn't have to rely on Heritage or the state exchequer. Whatever flights he's taking, he's paying personally. You file an RTI, my friend. You file an RTI and get a reply. Why are you making these wild allegations? Who's stopping you from filing an RTI?
You're spinning the ocean. We're not making it put up.
Who is stopping you from filing an RTI? I am saying on India Today. I am clearly stating on India Today.
Okay, Karthik, no, 1 second. Okay, so Pawan Kalyan is a big film star, can afford it. So that's another question that's been answered there, Karthik. So the question that then will come up again is if the answers have come from the TDP about who's really paying for these private jet travel that you raised, you've got the answer from the TDP. What about Jagan Mohan Reddy? Was it public money that was used for his chartered plane to Davos? And are you defending it, saying he brought in investment, so it was okay?
So, the thing is, can't be just one instance of a chartered flight going into Davos.
I'm raising one instance. I'm raising one instance because you did say it's not private. So this is not a private event. I concede that. It's not private.
I'll tell you, Akshita. So there were instances, and again, intentionally I didn't want to bring. So even Brahmani or even Bhuneshwari, who were accompanying when they were traveling to Davos, was that scheduled? Who was paying for that in the same flight they go and then they actually stay in the Switzerland and come back?
But they've highlighted that it's heritage. They've highlighted that it's heritage. Karthik, I don't want to drag in family because then again the same question comes up where, the TDP will talk about London stopovers and whatnot. Just speaking about Jagan Mohan Reddy. And, again, keeping aside the private travel aspect, if we talk about Davos, which is as the capacity of a chief minister is traveling, if he's going on a private jet, who's paying for that?
That's an open secret. There's no secret for that, right? What we're saying is the same thing happened for Singapore, the same thing happened for other countries where 30, 40 odd crores have been spent between 14 and 19. Now, let's not just finger point on only Mr. Jagan and as I every time say that, let's not blow out of the proportion that this is something only happening with Mr. Y. Jagan Mohan Reddy. That's what they're trying to actually constantly do. So, in Singapore, why were chartered flights flown to Singapore? That's my question as well. That's an open record. In the RTI records, in the RTI, where did this actually tell this is a private expense? They're twisting this whole thing and then trying to prove a point and rubbing against the people.
Okay, quick response from Pattabhiram and then I'll wrap this up.
Akshita, my only point here is when there was an option to fly on a scheduled aircraft to Davos, why should you spend crores of public money on your lavish chartered flight travel? He had boarded a chartered flight in Vijayawada with his wife, Bharati Garu, landed in London, picked up his children, then went to Davos. It is there all over in the newspapers. It is there in the flight path records. And you should have minimum, to deny such things on national television, you should have some morality. So what I'm saying is, I am happy that you have agreed, at least that, yes, Jagan Reddy had flown in a chartered flight to Davos. I'm happy for that. So that is the point which I'm saying. 222 crore and 500 crore, Akshita, the kind of money that was wasted on Rishikonda Palace.
Okay.
40 lakh for a bathtub.
I want a closing statement on that.
30 lakh for a 50 lakh for a massage table.
Okay, 10 seconds, Karthik, quickly. I have to wrap this up, please.
We've seen this enough on 500 crore Rishikonda Palace. That is not the case. They themselves, their tourist department came openly and told that this is a public asset.
Okay.
This is a tourism asset. If they feel that this is Mr. Jagan's asset, ask them to register on Jagan's name and let's go to courts.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I know that if I bring up Vizag, it's going to be a whole fresh debate that will never end. But thank you very much, Karthik Garu and Pattabhiram Garu, for joining us on this broadcast. The TDP and YSRCP at it over who has spent more public money. At the end of the day, the RTI reply highlighting the 222 crores That's a massive amount was spent by former Chief Minister Jagan Reddy for his travel. And the TDP alleges a lot of it was for his private travel as well.